After a really long wait yesterday, we finally have with us this morning Senator Gershom Bassey. He's a member of the PDP and he's also the Vice Chairman, Senate Committee on Petroleum Upstream. Senator, you're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. Let us just get from you your account where you were on Tuesday when the siege happened and your account of it.
Well, I woke up in the morning and I turned on my TV set and I saw that the National Assembly was surrounded. And so I decided to go to the National Assembly. I was actually supposed to go to the National Assembly that morning, but I saw these reports.
Can you give a time frame to this?
Well, maybe about 8 o'clock. I saw the news reports, but I still didn't think that it was a serious matter. I thought maybe it was a temporary situation, and so I decided to go about my normal duties. But on getting to the National Assembly, I went to the first gate, and the first gate was blocked.
It's about
the
what
main
time
gate.
Was this?
This must have been about 8:30-ish, you know. And we went to the Villa Gate to try and go in, and that Villa Gate was also blocked. And so we waited there to see if they would open the gate, but there was no response. The men in masks and guns, and I mean, there were so many guns in the National Assembly, and one would have thought that you know, something serious was happening in the country. Then we got word that they may be allowing some lawmakers in through the front gate, and so we went back to the front gate in 2 cars. And when we got there, after a short wait, they asked us to walk in. We should leave our cars outside and go in on foot. And that's what we did. And so we went in and, you know, watch the rest you've seen on TV.
Okay, so there were allegations. I mean, we heard from Senator Ben Bruce, who spoke with us on our program 2 days ago, that, you know, a separate vehicle was conveying members of the APC through another gate, and that's, you know, the security agencies. I think the Senate President also confirmed that in his speech yesterday about security agencies holding a list which was supposed to allow some lawmakers, specifically APC lawmakers, get into the National Assembly. He told us that there were APC lawmakers within the National Assembly trying to impeach allegedly trying to impeach the Senate President. But when they got in, there was no such thing.
Well, the information I got when we got to the gate initially was that earlier on, there had been people trying to access the National Assembly, but in trying to access the National Assembly, they were checking through a list to see if their names were on this list. That was my understanding. But when we got there, they allowed us in. They just, at that time, I think probably everything had freed up, and then they allowed us in on foot.
You also went in on foot?
I went in on foot, yes.
Okay.
All of us went in on foot, yes.
So what was the plan?
The plan was to go in and do our work. But when we got in, we had no access to our offices. And so we all decided to go to the front of the chambers and sit down there. Obviously, earlier on, we had gotten information that there probably would be an attempt to impeach the Senate President. So we went there to sit down and see if you know, that was going to play out. But there were two reasons why we were in front of the chambers. One was that we had no access to our offices, and secondly, we were waiting to see if this plot that we had heard about was actually going to happen.
Yes, Senator, one of the major allegations coming out against your party at the moment is that, you know, this is essentially the classic case of a setup. You know, they're saying that, look, why is it that representatives of the PDP leadership of the National Assembly, particularly some principal officers, sent text messages to almost all of the media members covering the National Assembly the night before this incident happened? Is it not a situation where the media was being called to cover an orchestrated event by the leadership of the National Assembly? What do you have to say to those allegations?
Well, like the Senate President said yesterday quite clearly, the DSS does not report to the Senate President. It reports to the executive. And therefore, the Senate President himself has no power whatsoever to enter into a plot or to give instructions or directives to the DSS. Clearly, that is hogwash. The fact of the matter is that the DSS had surrounded the National Assembly and denied access to lawmakers. And for me, I think this is an issue that calls for a comprehensive inquiry, like the Senate President said yesterday. We need to get to the bottom of this. Let's leave all this speculation out of the matter. Let us know the facts. What happened? Who gave the order? Why were they there? What were they doing there? These are the issues that we need to know, and we must get to the bottom of this if this democracy must survive. We cannot continue to have this level. I mean, already the DGSS or DSS has been relieved of his duties. If that has happened, then something is wrong. The executive must know something that we don't know. And we need all those facts to come out into the open. I want to call on the Senate, on the Vice President, the acting President, to make all the facts. The reason for his sacking the DGSS must be laid bare. Let the entire country know why this happened.
Well, Senator, you know, in furtherance of this notion that is being presented by the executive or representatives of the executive at the moment, that indeed the DSS boss that was just sacked, Lawal Dara, was working in cahoots with the Senate President, they cite a few examples running up to this. They cite the fact that a few years ago we saw the DSS under the leadership of the same individual give essentially ammo to the Senate to, you know, that essentially put into question the reputation of Ibrahim Magu as he was attempting to be confirmed as the EFCC chairman, and that was the ammo that was used to stop his confirmation at a time when he was investigating senators in the Senate. Now, if you look at that and you juxtapose that with what we've seen with the Senate President being tipped off the night before the police blockaded his house, he was able to get into the plenary and read these defection letters. You look at what happened, of course, with the siege at National Assembly. It just appears to be that there's these continuous examples of when the DSS made decisions that favored, you know, the position of, say, the Senate leadership or the National Assembly leadership above and over the position of the executive on some of these matters. Is it just mere coincidence?
No, no, no. Look, you can put any conspiracy theory together. You could say, you know, the sky is
I know
black
this is
and
coming
so on.
from representatives of the executive.
But
just to be clear.
I absolutely see no correlation between what you're saying and what happened the other day. There's absolutely no correlation. In regard of the EFCC confirmation, the Senate has every right to talk to the DSS regarding its input into that confirmation. And that is what happened. The DSS wrote to us and told us, gave us information that would assist that process. What we're talking about yesterday is far more serious than that. We're talking about an attempt, some people have called it a coup, an attempt to undermine the legislature, a comprehensive attempt to undermine the legislature. It's not child's play. We're not joking around. Those things that you're talking about, you know, are in the past. But a day before yesterday's event was a very serious attack on our democracy. And I'm calling once again for a comprehensive and total investigation into what does the Vice President know that we don't know. Let us all know this. Let's have all the facts so that this thing can be laid bare to Nigerians.
Senator, very quickly, when you look at one of kind of the many trends in these skirmishes that have happened over the last, say, 1 month, one of the things you see is, let's look at Benue State, for example, where we saw an attempt by the DSS and the police to lock out members of the State House of Assembly there, allowing only 8 into the chamber to allegedly impeach the leadership of that house. When that was going on, there was obviously the deployment of DSS, and one of the things you saw was the PDP saying this is essentially a war on democracy, and then of course the federal government says, look, we had no part in this decision, we don't know why they're there. We see the exact same thing playing out at NASS. You see the PDP looking like warriors defending democracy, and the APC looking like aggressors against democracy. Then you see the sacking of the DSS. There's a trend there. Can you just speak to kind of why it is that it appears that it just so happens that it's a partisan thing, that the APC appears to be the enemy of democracy and the PDP appears to be the hero just ahead of these elections?
Look, I don't want to speculate because what happened was serious. I want us to have a thorough investigation. I don't want to speculate on anything. I don't know who did what, but we need to find out. We must know who did what, and when and where. We need to get to the bottom of this. I don't know what APC is up to. What I do know is that there were no APC senators there, and we in the PDP decided to go there and defend democracy. I wish our APC colleagues had been there with us to stand firm against this kind of invasion or intrusion in the Senate. But what I'm calling for is a complete investigation into this matter. I don't think we should be speculating or coming up with conspiracy theories or any of that. I think we should get the facts. And what we should be dealing on are the facts. And I want those facts to be laid bare. And again, I'm calling on His Excellency, the Vice President, to lay the facts bare so that we know exactly what happened there the day before yesterday.